This is episode 4 of Hardcore Minecraft. In this episode, I'm going to get perfect weapons and attempt to take on a raid, which may or may not end my hardcore world. But before I could do that, I wanted to make a bunch of pathways around my base just to sort of make things a little more organized. Now that I had a path around my base, I wanted to add some signs with directions on where everything is. And just like that, I had a bunch of pathways all around my base and signs with directions on all of them. Now, before I could actually attempt to do a raid, I needed to get perfectly enchanted weapons to make sure I don't die. And there were a couple of enchantments I needed to get for both my sword and my bow. So I grabbed a villager and transported him into the trading hall, where I then broke and replaced his workstation until he offered to trade me a book that I needed. He was offering Sharpness 5, which was one of the books I needed, so I traded with him to lock in his trade, so I'll be able to come back later and buy it. There were a couple more books I needed to get, so I got another villager and did it all again. And since last episode was all about getting enchanted books, I'm just gonna go through this bit relatively quickly. And after a couple hours of grinding, I had every enchantment I needed. So I dumped all the books in my inventory and then went to the XP farm that I built last episode. I then started combining books in a very specific order to be able to put them onto my sword.
Boom, bam, bop, bada bop, boom, pow.
2,000 years later.
And after combining that last enchantment, I had what was probably the most powerful sword in Minecraft. I just need netherite. And then I proceeded to do the same for the bow in order to create the most powerful bow in Minecraft. And I don't even need netherite for this one, so yeah. And now it's finally time to actually attempt to do the raid. Now if you watched my last hardcore series, you would know that I died to a Vindicator during a raid. If you didn't watch it, you should, but that being said, I was still kinda scared to do this because of how much time I'd already invested in this world. But there was no point in delaying it. So after double checking I got everything I need, I grabbed my Bad Omen potion and started heading to a village I came across a few days before. When I got to the village, I made sure to seal off all the caves to prevent the illagers from going into them. I then jumped onto a rooftop and made myself a little platform in the sky. And finally, after making sure I had everything, I drank my Bad Omen potion. So remember when I said that I made sure to seal off all the caves beforehand? Yeah, that was a lie. Well, not exactly, but turns out that I forgot to block off the cave that was on the other side of the river, which caused me to spend the next 15 minutes wandering around aimlessly while ringing a bell. I then went back up, hoping that the next wave would not spawn directly on top of me. However, those hopes didn't last long.
You gotta be joking.
So I did the only logical thing and threw an ender pearl across the river to escape. And after that, the raid carried on. So I officially completed a raid in hardcore Minecraft, and I got 6 totems of undying from it, which will definitely last me a while. And now that I have totems of undying, the very last thing I wanted to do was to complete the caves and cliffs advancement, which would require me to fall from height limit all the way to bedrock. To do that, I first needed to find the bedrock pocket that goes to y equals -63, just a single block above the void. After I found one, I saved the coordinates and then went back up to the surface. I went to the coordinates and then I started building a giant tower all the way to height limit. After that, I dug a hole all the way down. And finally, after everything was set, I did the jump. So yeah, that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. And now that I have totems, I'll be able to do a lot more dangerous stuff without fear of dying. So if you want to stick around to see that, then feel free to subscribe. Also, if you want to be able to chat with me and see sneak peeks of videos before they even come out, then make sure to join my Discord server. And yeah, until next time, peace.